The steel handcuffs bit into Maya's wrists as two military police officers dragged her through the naval base checkpoint. Her worn jacket hung loose on her thin frame, and her weathered face told stories of streets slept on, and meals skipped on, and meals skipped. To everyone watching, she was just another vagrant who'd wandered onto restricted government property, probably looking for something to steal. Before we continue, tell me in the comments, which country are you watching from right now? I love connecting with viewers from around the world. Now, here's where everything changes. Telling you I have clearance, Maya insisted, her voice cracking with desperation. I served. I belong here. The younger officer scoffed. Sure you did, lady. He tightened his grip on her arm, steering her toward the security office where she'd be processed and handed over to local police. Maya's eyes swept across the harbor, taking in the destroyers and aircraft carriers that had once been her whole world. 15 years ago, she'd walked these same docks and pressed whites, her chin high, her future limitless. Back then, Lieutenant Maya Chen had been decorated for valor after pulling 3 sailors from a burning engine room during a deployment off the Gulf. The Navy Cross she'd earned sat somewhere in a pawn shop now, sold years ago for rent money she'd never be able to repay. The PTSD had started small, nightmares, hypervigilance. Then came the panic attacks that made her unable to function. The Navy had offered help, but pride and shame kept her silent until it was too late. One day, she just couldn't put the uniform on anymore. The discharge papers called it a mental health separation. The streets called it survival. If you're feeling this story, hit that like button right now. Stay with me, because what happens next will give you chills. What's the commotion here? Commanding voice cut through the humid morning air. Everyone snapped to attention. Admiral Richard Hastings, 3 stars gleaming on his collar, approached with measured steps. His silver hair caught the sunlight, and his ice-blue eyes assessed the situation with practiced efficiency. Sir! Vagrant on base. Sir! The senior officer reported crisply. We're taking her in for trespassing. The Admiral's gaze fell on Maya, and something flickered in his expression. Recognition? Curiosity? He stepped closer, studying her face. Maya lifted her chin despite everything, some muscle memory of dignity refusing to die. What's your name? He asked, his tone neutral but not unkind. Maya Chen, sir. Former Lieutenant USS Fitzgerald. His eyebrows rose slightly. The Fitzgerald. That was Captain Morrison's ship. He paused, his eyes traveling down to where her jacket sleeve had been pushed up by the handcuffs. There, faded but unmistakable, was a tattoo, an anchor intertwined with a medical caduceus, and beneath it, numbers. Not random numbers, but coordinates and a date. The Admiral's entire demeanor changed. His jaw tightened, and when he spoke again, his voice carried the weight of absolute authority. Release her. Now, the officers exchanged confused glances. Sir, she's that tattoo, the Admiral interrupted, his voice sharp as a blade, isn't for pretenders. Those are the coordinates of the rescue operation in the Arabian Sea. June 2009. I was commander of naval operations for that region. He turned to Maya, his expression softening. You're the lieutenant who went back into that inferno 3 times. Morrison wrote you up himself. Assign the commendation. The handcuffs clicked open, falling away from Maya's wrists. She rubbed the red marks absently, tears streaming down her weathered cheeks. Sir, double quotes, she started, but words failed her. Admiral Hastings placed a hand on her shoulder. No one who wore that medal should be out there alone. He turned to his aide, debtor to medical, then to personnel. Lieutenant Chen is going to help us train the next generation of damage control specialists. God knows we need people who VA actually been through hell to teach these kids what courage looks like. As they walked toward the administration building, Maya glanced back at the harbor. The ships gleamed in the morning light, and for the first time in years, she felt like she was coming home. Sometimes, salvation arrives not when we expect it, but exactly when we need it most. In the eyes of someone who remembers that heroes do and stop being heroes just because they fall down, they just need a hand to help them stand again. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe to this channel. Share it with someone who needs to hear that no matter how far they've fallen, redemption is always possible. Your support helps me bring you more stories that remind us of the goodness in humanity. Drop a comment telling me what you felt, and I'll see you in the next story. Till then, remember, Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Kind, always.